Question 14 says, a regenerative braking system allows an electric car to use its kinetic energy to charge a battery as the car decelerates. A car traveling at 13 meters per second decelerated to rest. The energy transferred to the car battery during the deceleration was 73.9 kilojoule. Calculate the efficiency of the regenerative braking system. So I have a trick that I always apply while solving question paper questions. Whenever I get a question of 3 marks or above, I don't look for the answer. What I do is I just start calculating with the given information in the question. So it says it's traveling with a speed of 13 meters per second and it has a mass, and the question somewhere mentioned kinetic energy. So the very first thing I could do is find out the kinetic energy, which will get me some marks. So here I have the kinetic energy. So out of this amount of kinetic energy, only 73.9 kilojoule was transferred, and you convert this to joules, which is 73,900. So I have an available amount of energy of 131,820 joule, but out of this 131,820, 73,900 is transferred. So efficiency would be output by input, and generally it's fairly obvious to identify which one is the output and which one is the input. Here it's a bit difficult, but once you do this calculation, it should be clear that this is the output, the energy that is transferred to the battery, and the input was the amount of kinetic energy that I had available. So efficiency is output by input, and the other trick would be output is always smaller than input, and the value is 0.56. You don't have to give the answer in percentage, giving it in decimal is also fine. So we generally associate efficiency with energy input and output. However, here it's not very clear which is the input and which is the output. The best way to address this question is to consider the car had an initial kinetic energy, and out of that initial kinetic energy, 73.9 kilojoule was transferred to the battery. That makes the kinetic energy the input and 73.9 kilojoule the output. Part B states, drag force act on the car as it moves through the air. State how the drag force vary with the velocity of the car. As velocity increases, drag force also increases. The graph shows how the efficiency of the regenerative braking system depends upon the initial velocity of the car for initial velocities in the range of 20 meters per second to 40 meters per second. Explain why the efficiency of the regenerative braking system varies as shown in the graph. So why does it vary, everybody? At higher speeds, more work is done against air resistance. So more energy is dissipated. A smaller proportion of the energy is available to charge the battery, and therefore the efficiency of the system is lower. As you increase the velocity, efficiency drops.